Musso, now even bigger.
Welcome to Middleton Sands, and the perfect stomping ground to test the SsangYong Musso Rhino.
This is the long wheelbase version, and you may remember we had the Saracen on review earlier on this year.
And it can tow 3.5 tonne and carry a full load on the bed at the same time. There's not many pickups out there that can do that.
It's powered by a 2.2 litre turbo diesel engine, and it has a 6-speed automatic gearbox, and it's got 4-wheel drive, 2 high, 4 high and 4 low.
Where the Musso differs from other pickups is the refinement. It's actually built on the Rexton Platform, which means it offers SUV characteristics.
Well, they've got 40 years of experience under their belt. They really do know a thing or two about pickups. Prices for the range start at just under £22,000. This being the long wheelbase version is just under £30,000. Somebody had fun here. I didn't realise it was as mucky as it is. However, we had a lot of fun off-roading, and actually that was me making all of that mess, but it doesn't detract from the style and the design. It's based on the Rexton SUV, and the design language is the same as the rest of the range, which means you've got lots of gloss black, lots of chrome, and don't forget you've got this lovely chunky valance, which is great for off-roading. It would be nice to see a higher wading depth. Hint, hint, please, SsangYong. You've got automatic headlamps, they are halogen, daytime running lights. You've also got fog lights and rain sensing wipers. This is the long wheelbase, which means you get front parking sensors as well. It's also got some extra safety features, but we'll cover that in the interior. The long wheelbase has got 17-inch alloy wheels. Funnily enough, the Saracen had 18-inch, but we do have very large comfy tyres, which makes it great for off and on road. You do have the black cladding, which continues down across the arch and down the side of the vehicle, the same with the rest of the other models. You've got electrically operated power folding door mirrors, and with the long wheelbase you get blind spot detection. You've got the two-tone colour here, which matches the rest of the design language. Again, I can only kind of point at the roof rails because this is a beast, so I can't reach them. On the door handles, it's all one colour here, which is different from the Saracen, but the chrome does continue down the side of the windows, giving it a nice look, and you've got your privacy glass in the back. The side step is also a bit different on this one. It doesn't have chrome, but it does have grips on it, which makes it, for me, essential to be able to get in and out safely. And all doors cover the sills, which means no more muddy trousers. As this is the Rhino, it has a Rhino and a Rhino. I'm especially fond of this decal. It matches the Rhino, and we saw it on the Saracen as well. It also takes AdBlue. The ruggedness is continued in the back with this chunky, strong bumper. I like it a lot. You do get a fair bit of overhang, but it is a long wheelbase, so you do expect it. It comes with discs, rear parking sensors, rear cross traffic alert. You don't get those on the other models, just the long wheelbase, and you do have a reversing camera as well. You can also see the raised ride height quite clearly.
The long wheelbase Rhino. Let's see how easy it is to get inside. High ride height, so that should make it quite easy. And we've got side step too. No keyless entry, but the doors open nice and wide, and it's a big door opening as well. It would have been nice to see a grab handle here. Like most pickups, I can literally just step in. Annabelle would have to use this though. And with my seat slid back, this is quite a reach, but because it's an electric seat, I could just pull it forward and then be a bit easier to grab. It's fine for me. The Rhino's not too dissimilar to the Saracen. It's full of premium materials, soft touches on the dash, lovely leather wrapped steering wheel, and this comfortable armrest and supportive seats as well. Far more than some other pickups. Lots of rotary dials, one for the 4-wheel drive, and the aircon and the infotainment system. Nicely integrated too. You've got all-round electric windows, power folding, heated door mirrors. They've also got blind spot detection as well. On the right-hand side, we've got a panel here where you've got your rear cross-traffic alert. Descent control. You can also adjust your headlamp height here, and you can disable your traction control. You've also got your bonnet pull down here as well. And one thing that's always handy in an off-roader, you can disable your parking sensors. Moving to the steering wheel, it's heated. You've got your telephony controls and media controls on the left, and on the right hand side, cruise control. You also operate your fuel computer with this button here. The cluster's nice and clear, rev counter on the left, speedo on the right, and in the centre a fuel computer that displays things like media, economy and other information. In the centre we've got the integrated infotainment system. It's got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, satellite navigation and DAB too. Shortcut buttons here and a rotary dial for the volume there. Below that, air conditioning. I do love this panel. I like the finish. Another rotary dial, aircon button there. It's also dual zone. Below that, the pièce de résistance. Heated and ventilated seats, and they are fantastic. Below that, a cigar lighter, old school. These are actually turning up in far more vehicles than we expected this last year. It's quite strange. USB, auxiliary, and a 12 volt socket too. 6-speed automatic gearbox, knock it left to put it in manual, and your driving modes: economy, winter, and power. I like that one. Behind that, your rotary dial for your off-road. 2 high, 4 high, and 4 low. There is no shift lock. And finished off with an old school handbrake with hill hold assist. I've got decent headroom, and I've got decent legroom as well, and I'm 6'3". The seats are very supportive, good side bolsters, comfortable driving position. This suits you and your passenger, and the door card is finished very nicely and padded. Yes, there is hard plastic, but you expect that, it's a pickup. Footrest on the left hand side. It's a fully electric seat, as is the passengers. Now on this model and the Saracen, you get height and reach adjustment on the steering wheel. On the other models, it's just height. We've got a decent sized door bin here. Moving to the centre, decent area for your phone. 2 cup holders, and under the armrest, you get your lunch in there as well. Glove box, lockable, perfect. Storage area here, and sunglasses holder. And yeah, it's not the biggest, but you'll get something in there. Let's see how easy it is to step into the rear. The raised ride height will help, as will the step. That's if you're on about. The doors could open a touch wider, but it's a decent opening. And we have a grab handle as well. That was nice and easy, and you could use a step as well. And this reach isn't too far either. Perfect. Even with this seat set up for me at 6'3", I've still got knee room, and I can put my feet under the seat as well. I do like this mat as well. It's one big thing, and it covers the transmission tunnel, and it's perfect for getting things like sand out. They've really thought of everything in here. It's very well trimmed, it's very comfortable. A pull down armrest with cup holders as well. It would be a pleasure to go on an adventure in this with 2 people. 3 people on shorter runs, and 3 children, no problem. And I'm very impressed with the refinement in here, I really am. It is a bit dark, but that's because it's got a dark headliner. But you do have a lot of light coming in from the side windows and the windscreen. You've got ISOFIX points here, and you've got airbags here, here, and here. Map pockets on the back of the seats, and vents in the centre. Would have been nice to see some charging points. Handles above each door as well. The door card is nicely trimmed. It is a bit dark. Would have been nice to see a colour there, but it's very well finished. It's got an electric window, and you have a heated seat as well. Decent sized door bin, and I can get my quick wax in there quite easily. I love the way you've got storage under here as well. Perfect. And this seat comes forward too, so you can put your tools behind there, and inflation kit. Stepping round to the bed, well, I would have liked to see a soft opening tailgate, but nevertheless nice and strong. It's also got strong plastic on it as well, so you could use that to load. We've got an optional bed liner in this as well, and this will carry 1 Euro pallet and have space behind it as well. Payload is just over 1.1 tons, and the interesting thing about this is it can tow 3.5 tons and carry full payload simultaneously. Not many pickups that can do that. Strength wise, I'm 18 stone, so you could quite easily put a lawnmower on here, bags of gravel, whatever. There's also a 12 volt socket here, and tethering points too. You can also get a tonneau cover. It's not the heaviest, but it's not the lightest. Nice and sturdy. The standard Musso bed is 1,300mm. Now when you get the Rhino, that increases to 1,610, making the total length of the vehicle 5,405mm. So it's just under 5.5 metres. Depending on what you're going to use the vehicle for, if you're carrying loads, that kind of thing, it's probably better to go for the Rhino. But if you're a farmer and you're going to go off adventuring for sheep and things, then maybe a standard wheelbase is a better solution. Either way, SsangYong offer both. Welcome aboard the SsangYong Musso Rhino. This is a long wheelbase, and it's powered by a 2.2 turbo diesel engine, which is 4-cylinder and has a 6-speed automatic gearbox. You can also get a manual, but not in the long wheelbase. It is responsive. See, I'm just getting carried away now.
It is a delight to drive, I know that.
Yeah, well that's it, you've done quite a bit of driving. You've done some of the off-roading in it as well.
And it was fun. With the Rhino's increased overhang, it's not quite as versatile as a short wheelbase. It's part-time 4-wheel drive with a rear wheel default. It does drive like an SUV, doesn't it?
Well yeah, but it is built on a Rexton platform, so that
makes sense.
Explains that.
The gearbox is deep in the chassis, however the ground clearance can be as little as 220mm at its lowest point. You get an approach angle of 19.5 degrees, a departure angle of 20.5 degrees, and a ramp angle of 20 degrees.
And that brings me to the driving modes. You've got power, economy, and winter. So winter will obviously make it a little more sure-footed on those icy and snowy roads. Power makes it a bit quicker, and economy, well, we know what that does, but I'm not going to use it, am I?
Speak for yourself, I used it yesterday.
And how was it?
It was great.
It just drops the revs and things, doesn't it, and changes gear quicker.
Yeah, but it was very smooth. You wouldn't have noticed really that you felt any loss of power. Well, I didn't think so anyway.
We'll get onto a proper road and then see how it is. One interesting thing is this has got electronic steering, whereas some of the lower models have got hydraulic steering. It'd be interesting to see how that differs. But this waitens up very nicely.
Clear.
It's very direct, and it goes exactly where you point it, and go into a corner at quite a speed.
It's tight, isn't it?
Yeah, it's tight steering, and it stays well planted as well.
Following on from that, the brakes are good.
There we go, there's a kick down.
Ooh.
But you have got 420 Newton meters.
Yes, my head knows that.
Yeah, I'm doing national speed limit down these roads, and it feels great. And that's without a load in the back as well. The one thing you will notice, you pull out of a junction speed, yeah, you're going to wheel spin.
As you said before, we're two sides of a coin, aren't we, when we come to these kind of things?
Well, yeah. You see the economical side, and I don't. The ride height gives you a nice commanding driving position as well. Great visibility, just a nice driving position. As for the ride, well, most pickups are quite choppy, and this, because it's built on the Rexton platform, which is an SUV, isn't. It's far more refined. I mean, yes, if you hit a pothole, you'll know about it, but it's bounce rather than bump.
That's it.
It is a comfortable ride, and off-road as well, because of the rear leaf springs and the double wishbones. It's very planted there as well.
Expect it to be a little harsher than the short wheelbase. With plenty of power for climbing hills and descent control for coming down them, bear in mind its fixed speed, the Rhino makes driving on and off-road easy and effortless. If it detects slippage, it can distribute 15% to the front wheels, and off-road is typically 60-40 with switchable modes including high and low. There is no selectable diff lock.
With the L200 sadly being phased out in this country, will this fill the gap?
I've fallen in love with the Musso. And it's not just because of the refinements within the cabin.
Well, there's a lot to love. I mean, for a start, a 7-year warranty. It's 150,000 miles as well. People doubt it and think, oh, it's not going to last. But you've got that warranty, so why not try it?
And as a passenger, there's very little body roll in terms of what you would expect for a pickup. You wouldn't expect a long wheelbase to handle this well, would you?
Well, pickups generally are a bit jittery, and this
just isn't.
The responsive acceleration is very good. Instant, and a wheel spin as well.
See, now that's nippy.
Economy wise, WLTP. Ultra economy, you're going to get 36 to the gallon. I get nowhere near that. I'm getting 22 to the gallon, but let's face it, I've been flooring it down the back lanes. Happily cruises along at about 25 miles an hour. Doesn't unnecessarily drop gears either, which is good. Even when we were towing the car trailer at the beginning of this year, it only dropped gears when it really had to, like steep climbs. You can quite happily potter along through the villages. But you also know that if you blip the throttle, it'll
can easily get out of the way in any tight spots, can't you?
Yeah, well, I've read reviews that say that it's not the most responsive pickup. All I can say is drive it for yourself, see what you think. I've driven far less responsive vehicles, far less.
Yeah.
So let's try power mode. It doesn't change gear as fast. Whoa! It's permanently keeping you at the top of the revs. You run these S-bends, judge for yourself from the other camera shot that we've got here. This is 40 miles an hour. And if I put my foot down coming out of the bend, it drops a gear because we're on power, and we're off.
There's no hesitation there at all, was there?
No.
No. All in all, I'll say you get a fantastic driving experience as well as passenger experience in this.
You do, yeah.
There's very little noise in the cabin. It's very well refined and insulated, I would say.
Well, that's it. You only hear it if you've got it under heavy load, and then it's not.
It's not intrusive. The brakes are good. One thing to note though, if you are using the sat nav in the Musso, it calls roundabouts rotaries.
I never knew that. Joining motorways is nice and easy. It easily gets up to speed. You've got decent acceleration, even at motorway speeds as well if you need to get out of trouble. It's got top speed of 107 miles an hour as well. On an A road, B road, it'll happily cruise along, and because you've got that 420 newton meters of torque, if you need to blip the throttle, there's always the opportunity to, and you know the power's there.
One thing I would have liked to have seen are grab handles, especially for the off-roading bits and pieces that you can do in this.
That would have been handy, wouldn't it?
Yeah. For me also, for mobility, it's very, very helpful.
One thing this vehicle hasn't got is stop-start. It's very good. It gets through deep mud, water. Yeah. That brings me to wading depth.
It would be nice to see future models with a higher wading depth, wouldn't it, Ben?
It would, especially when you think the new Isuzus are running 800mm. It would have been nice to see LED lights, but the halogens are perfectly acceptable.
There's a big market here that could use a pickup with this much capability.
And practicality.
And 7-year warranty? I mean, it's ticking a lot of boxes here, isn't it?
It is.
This long wheelbase is truly capable. It offers versatility, comfort and refinement. It's a pickup that has the style of an SUV. It has a huge load bed and can carry and tow simultaneously, a feat unmatched in today's pickup market. It's relatively economical, although it drops a bit when you are towing. It's great for long haul, however the drive isn't quite as refined as a short wheelbase or as engaging as other sportier pickups, but it does offer a smooth drive. It's Euro 6 with NCAP to be determined, and it's well priced with a choice of trims. And don't forget that 7-year warranty.